Hello. Hello, everybody. My name's Luke. This is
Roman.
In today's episode, the ocean.
More specifically, the deep sea, which is something I'm really passionate about.
The ocean is a more broad topic. I mean, the deep sea is, a little specific.
Well, I don't have much to talk about in terms of the ocean as a whole. I'm focusing on deep sea biomes.
Atlantis isn't
Oh,
real.
we're starting with Atlantis. Okay. I thought we were gonna get into the theories and stuff.
It was made up by Plato to get his story running.
Can we get back to Atlantis? Something that I always thought was very interesting is the Mariana Trench. You know that, of course, right?
Yeah, so far, the deepest recorded point in the ocean.
Yeah, I have it down here. It says 36,000 feet, which
Dang.
I think they said it's like you could stack Mount Everest, the Empire State Building, and then still have a couple miles on top of those two things.
No, millipedes have more feet than that. I guess you could get like 36 centipede. No, centipedes are 100 feet.
You're acting like you can get that many to reach, but you're not using the same unit of measure. But more specifically, the Hadal Point is the deepest point.
Hadal?
Is that really how it's pronounced?
Well, I assume it's like Hadal, because, like Hades. Hades, Hadal. Hadal sounds closer to Hades than, whatever the fuck you said.
Hold on. Okay, here we go. Everybody listen.
Hadal.
Hadal.
Hadal. Hadal.
It has to be wrong.
Hadal.
Because if that thing is right, that means
Hadal.
I'm wrong. And I don't like that. Therefore, I'm right and that's wrong.
The Hadal Point is one of many very deep locations that we know of in the ocean, that one just being the deepest. And I find it so incredibly fascinating, similar to our last episode about aliens, where it's just the exploration of the unknown. Like, I'm so excited to go down there and see what's down there because it's an alien planet, like, on our own planet. It's like, we can go down there and we can find crazy stuff without having to travel light years away.
Would you rather go to space or the ocean? Like in a submarine?
They're both pretty terrifying, but I think there is technology out there that we have that could support going down there. James Cameron, the director of Avatar.
Well, of course there is. We've already been down there.
That's what I'm saying. I just think there's more. I don't know. I just feel like I'd feel more comfortable.
I'd want to go to the sea because there's not much to look out and shit. Now I actually don't know which I'd want to choose because if you go down to the deep ocean. It's dark and the fish are like sparsely scattered, so you might not see anything of note down there.
Yeah, I honestly,
at the very
least,
least,
I think you would see more in space, just if you like looking at the night sky. But,
and you could see the Earth below you.
Yeah, like deep down, it's too deep for even light to get down there, so you have to have like a flashlight on the outside of your submarine. Yeah. I guess we should specify they have to build special made submersible vehicles to go down there that are super pressurized because there's so much weight pressing down on whatever vehicle you're in that you could just get crushed at any moment. It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine all the water shooting in there and just from a simple little crack. It's terrifying. But yeah, James Cameron went down there, which was crazy, and he filmed a documentary about it. I think he also explored the Titanic.
I don't know who that is.
Director of Titanic, director of Avatar.
Wait, you see the
director? He's a big famous director.
He directed both the Titanic and Avatar?
Yeah.
That actually makes a surprising amount of sense.
He likes big, theatrical, showy movies.
No, that's not what I'm talking about here. Continue.
Yeah, and just to kind of put it in perspective, it says right here, more of the moon's surface has been mapped than the bottom of Earth's oceans. So that's like, I think they said it's only 20% roughly that we know about. So just think of all the species down there that we don't know about yet. Like, you see all those ancient like medieval drawings of like giant like krakens and stuff, and it's like, you know, a couple centuries later, here comes a colossal squid washing up on beaches.
I mean, we already knew about colossal squids.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like these mythical beasts from our past are actually turning out to be true.
Well, yes, but the colossal squid is nothing new. We've had like submarines seeing them.
Well,
Just because one's washing up now doesn't mean that
I never said it was
it's a new discovery.
new. Whenever I say new, you think I mean like yesterday. I mean like within the past couple of decades.
No, I'm thinking like within the past 2 decades.
That's the exact same thing. I want to talk about some of my favorite creatures from down there.
Well, before you do that, why bother with the ocean? We already found everything worth a note down there. Crabs, shrimp, octopi. What else down there tastes good? I don't care about the 6,789 different types of jellyfish. Let's just find the coolest ones and don't bother with the others.
What do you mean, let's just find the coolest one? There's a way to search for the coolest specifically?
Well, no, but like, I don't know, we already got several cool jellyfish. I don't care about like all the...
What are you implying that we should do otherwise?
Explore the Amazon rainforest?
You should have just took your nap. Okay. Probably the most famous, not my favorite deep sea creature, but the anglerfish.
I like the oarfish.
Well, yeah, I got that on here too. I said it's
Isn't
not my
there like
favorite.
the 6-gill shark? The shark with 6 gills?
I don't know, I can look that up. But no, the anglerfish is famous for a little lure on the front of its head with a light on the end that lures in prey.
Nemo.
Yeah, it's a Nemo. It's in a lot of like mainstream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The goblin shark. It's like not exactly like a second mouth, but it's like, you know, extends out a bit and then grabs and pulls it back in.
Yeah, it's got like a distending jaw. But okay, blunt-nosed 6-gill shark. The blunt-nosed 6-gill shark, often simply called the cow shark, is largest hexancoid shark, growing to 20 feet in length. It is found in tropical and temperate waters worldwide, and its diet is widely varied in the region. But also a cool thing about the anglerfish is that the females of the species, in order to mate with the male, they'll literally fuse together until the male just withers away into a little lump on its side. You want to talk about the oarfish? That was next on my list.
Long ass fish.
We talked about them in our mammals versus fish debate, where they're the ones that swim vertically in the water column, and they're super, super long.
Like 60 feet.
Yeah, and they live out 60 feet? That seems like a lot. How long is an oarfish?
Well, look up the max length of an oarfish.
36. That's about half of what you were saying. A little bit more. 36 feet on average. But they normally like stay way out in open waters, so it's very rare that you see like dead ones wash up on beaches. But they're some of my favorites because they're cool looking too. It's not just like the length or how they swim, they just look cool. They're like very shimmery and have like a red streak on them. There's a few fish that live in the deep sea that are really gnarly looking. It looks like just somebody took a chainsaw to their face.
There's like one fish where it like can't close its jaw because its fangs are too big.
I think that's the viperfish.
Yeah.
The dragonfish, the viperfish, the hatchetfish, they all look really weird.
The blobfish.
And also, I think a couple of those emit light, just like the anglerfish, because there is no light down there. They need some sort of bioluminescence to attract prey. So yeah, those are very interesting. The vampire squid, those things are wild looking. They're like any other squid, but they're fairly large, and they have what looks like these just rows of spikes or teeth along the inside of their tentacles.
What about those?
And they're blood red color too.
What about those one squids where like their tendrils are really long and they just disappear into the
But they're kind of
darkness?
on joints too.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
right here.
That's a type of jellyfish. I can't remember the name, so
The
I'll put it right here.
jellyfish?
I think so. Yeah, I'll put it right here.
Along
it's a
with the
jellyfish or
answer.
squid. I forget.
Along with the answer, if it's a jelly or a squid.
Yes, exactly. So those are just some of my favorite like deep sea fish or creatures in general. But my favorite, as I said in the mammals versus fish debate, is the sea turtle, but those don't live in the deep sea. And there's so many more I would love to cover, but something I want to mention is there is a bunch of really good documentaries on Netflix, honestly, that talk about like deep sea environments and stuff. I think they have like Night on Earth is one, or just Our Planet. One of those documentary series is an episode on deep sea, and it's really, really good.
Real quick, gotta bring up megalodons.
Yes.
I know you have it on your list.
Yes, it's next on my list.
Megalodons. First of all, it's dead. There's no way there could be one alive in the ocean. If there is, we will have seen it already. Second thing, it is not the biggest creature in our ocean. That is the blue whale. It has always been the blue whale. The blue whale makes the megalodon look tiny. Alright? Just understand that, please.
Or so help me. But that, yeah, I wanted to wait to get to the megalodon. That's why it's lower on the list. Not because I don't care for it, but because it's just speculatory as to whether or not it's still around. You always hear people thinking, oh, it's out there.
It's not. I want to strangle people.
The Meg movie, did you see that? With Jason? You don't know actors, I'm sorry.
I did not see it. I saw the trailer for it. Looked terrible.
It had Rainn Wilson, who is Dwight from The Office.
Who's Dwight?
One of the glasses who's like high strung. I don't watch The Office, but everybody knows Office characters. He's got the glasses and like is always getting pranked by the other guy. He's like really high strung.
Is he the weird guy?
The weird guy, but not the weird guy. That's Creed.
Oh, you mean the serial killer?
Is he a full-on serial killer in that show? I've never seen The Office. I just know the character.
You just saw me struggle to figure out who Dwight was.
Well,
for,
you
like, the
often
past-
pull some like really obscure knowledge from TV shows sometimes. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or not even a TV show, just something. And you're like, oh, I know this one specific thing about it.
I remember there was a clip from The Office, or well, blooper.
Here we go.
He goes to like throw the briefcase that he doesn't need, and he accidentally hits the light switch and breaks it, which wasn't supposed to happen. And the lights go off, and they don't have another set to film on, so there's that.
But yeah, the Meg is like a Sharknado quality movie with like a Marvel budget. So take that with what you will. But
Sharknado, real or fake? We'll tell you.
Something else I want to talk about are what are called whale falls. And they provide a similar thing to like hydrothermal vents that are. You seem very confused.
Just by
Look.
the name of it, whale fall?
Yeah. Okay. So you are aware of like hydrothermal vents, these vents that blow like warm air and nutrients and water out of these like stone vents at the bottom of the ocean. It's theorized that's where life first began because it was warm water full of nutrients from the core of the earth, not the core, but the interior.
Alive in the ocean.
Well, words, history of the world, right there.
You caught it.
Yeah. But Yeah, it's theorized that's where life began, actually, and it's just hotspots for organisms and stuff. So you see like these deep sea octopi. I
He's
forget.
talking about thermal vents right now,
Yeah.
not whale falls.
Well, I'm getting to that because they provide nutrients
you're
for like.
taking a roundabout way to get to it.
I rant, as you know if you've watched these episodes, but it provide nutrients for the surrounding animals. You know, it feeds the tube worms that live there, and creatures eat the tube worms. Blah blah blah. And similarly, think about it. When a whale dies and doesn't wash up on a beach,
They die of drowning, actually. They just grow too old and they can't reach the surface for air anymore. So they just kind of die of drowning and float off to the bottom of the ocean, where things start to feast on their dead body. It's like a little high for a lot of these bottom feeder fish.
And then what happens?
Their
Yes.
bones are there.
You just explained a whale fall.
Alright, that was simple enough.
Yeah. So, well, originally when they die, they swell up with like gas as they're decomposing, and so you see those like awful videos where a whale will wash up on a beach and it literally explodes all over the place.
Like a water balloon filled with blood and guts.
Yeah, really, and it smells awful because it's a rotting animal. But if it doesn't wash up on a beach, the skeleton is just gonna sink to the bottom of the ocean, and whatever stuff is left on there, cartilage, tissue, whatever, the bottom feeders to the bottom of the ocean, like you were saying, will eat it. And so it's a good source of nutrients for deep sea animals.
You know, a blue whale is so big, a grown man can swim through the aorta of a blue whale, which is like a part of the heart. Okay, so I can't remember if it's the aorta or the ventricle you'd swim through the of the whale heart.
Long story short, the whale heart is absolutely giant.
You cannot be swallowed up by a whale. You won't fit. The Bible got that wrong.
We're not supposed to be talking about whales anyway. They're not deep sea creatures. I was just talking about whale falls because
Sperm whales are. They can dive the deepest out of all the whale species.
Anyway, my interest was spurred in the deep sea because of a YouTube channel that I found, but they're part of a larger research team that uses like sea exploration vessels, and they go out onto the high seas and pilot these remote operated vehicles called ROVs. The one that I watch is called Nautilus Live. I love their stuff. They live stream it all, so it's super cool to like watch their findings in real time. I've talked about them before on the show, and I'm super big fan of what they do. Super happy that they are so enthusiastic about what they do and that money is being put forward to research down there. And it's what's kind of spurred my own personal interest in the topic.
There's an interesting story about why sperm whales are named sperm whales. It's like some type of
Why are we still talking about whales?
some type of substance that they like produce in their body, and they're like killed for it. It's not sperm. It's complete.
Ambergris?
That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, it's like a weird oil that their bodies produces. It's super, super rare. Or it's not rare, but it's hard to get because obviously it's inside of a whale.
I gotta double check this now. I feel terrible.
There was a whole Bob's Burgers episode about it.
They are named after this waxy substance found in their head called that they called spermaceti, SPERMACETI. It's a oil sac that helps the whale focus on sound.
Well, the ambergris is something else.
Yeah, it's whale shit.
No, it isn't. Now it's my turn to look something up. Yeah, okay. Ambergris. A solid waxy substance originating in the intestine of a sperm whale. In Eastern cultures, ambergris is used for medicines and potions and as a spice.
Oh.
Interesting. In the West, it was used to stabilize the scent of fine perfumes.
Oh, so like the sperm whale is like the golden goose of the whale family.
Yeah, apparently it's just squirting out all kinds of things that humans like to scoop up.
Oil and intestine stuff.
Yeah. This kind of makes me think of the fact that on these deep sea explorations where people like Nautilus Live, they go down there and they, search for new species and take samples, they'll also find trash. Like, trash has made it all the way down there. We have yet to explore some of these places, and our garbage has already made it down there, which is just wonderful.
I kind of want a whale rib. I won't do anything. Ooh, actually, if I got into like carving, I could probably make something really fucking cool from like a whale rib.
Whale skulls are really cool looking. There's actually a museum at my college where they have a huge whale skull, and it's not even on display. I don't know why they don't have it out. But I got a backrooms tour of it, and they showed their whale skull. It's
Imagine a sword made out of like whale bone. Like, just get a solid piece of whale bone and carve a sword out of it, hilt and all.
Are whale bones particularly strong though?
I don't know. That's the only problem I haven't gotten through yet. I don't even know if they're solid. I mean, I guess they would be, but they're not like, I don't think they're like birds where they have hollow bones.
I don't know. I have no clue. I don't have a desire to make a sword out of a whale rib.
Why not?
I like their skulls instead. But you began this episode by talking about Atlantis. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into in the second half here, where we talked about, like...
Great movie. Never saw it.
Oh, I honestly think Atlantis is my favorite Disney movie.
Never saw it.
Atlantis
Atlantis 1 or Atlantis 2?
The first one. I based a small...
Isn't there a third Atlantis?
Hell if I know. But all those early Disney sequels are ass, so I'm fine with just watching the original. I based a small portion of my personality off of the main character, Milo.
You were either a Atlantis kid growing up, or Treasure Planet kid growing up. You can't be both.
They want to make a live action Atlantis with, of course, Tom Holland and Zendaya. You know them. Please tell me you know them.
Of course I know who Tom Holland is.
Do you know who Zendaya is?
Tom Holland played,
That's not what I asked.
fucking, something Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie.
That is your touchstone for who Tom Holland is?
He looks like he swallowed a frog. I saw that meme around about
Nothing
him.
else coming to mind.
I mean, he's Spider-Man, isn't he?
Yeah. We got there, ladies and gentlemen. We got there. Just a little bit of questioning.
I grew up watching my brother play the Uncharted games. Sorry if I was excited to see a movie about it.
You don't even have to see the movies. Like, I just don't know how existing in the general public media sphere, you do not think of Spider-Man first when somebody mentions Tom Holland. You think of Nathan Drake.
I like
By the way, he looks nothing like Nathan Drake.
Well, no, he doesn't. But he did a good job acting as him. I thought personally he played a great Nathan Drake. Maybe not the Nathan Drake in the games, but for a movie adaptation, that wasn't bad.
I don't really know too much about Nathan Drake's character. I watched somebody play through like Uncharted 3 or whatever number it was. Never played it myself. But it's always weird seeing Tom Holland in something else because all I know him as is Spider-Man, and so when he's acting differently, it's strange. Devil All the Time is a really good movie that he's in, which he acts a completely different character.
You know, in one of the Uncharted movie games, it gave me a reoccurring nightmare. The ones with like the white human-like creatures are like jumping and crawling all over the wall. Those gave me nightmares.
There's like paranormal stuff in Uncharted?
Yeah. There's this race of giant purple people, and they like have these flails that they throw at you, and they're like they glow this blue stuff.
I thought it was just like
No.
ye old treasure hunting, the game.
The ocean is big, the ocean is scary. Have you seen those videos of those giant ass waves way out in the sea? And then, oil rigs at night? You can't see shit out there.
Oh yeah, I saw a video about that recently.
Yeah.
And just think about like building that thing. Like it's way out in the ocean, and you have to set these huge pylons into the ground.
Fun fact, oil rigs are actually floating.
Wait, really?
Want to double check?
But they seem so stationary.
They're chained.
But like they're not even like swaying. They're so still. As with oil tankers, heavy load barges, and cruise ships, deep sea oil rigs float according to basic physics as the weight of the rig pushes. But okay, regardless, something is still attached to the ground to obtain the oil.
Yeah, but it's like
I understand it's not a support structure, but it's still, you got to get down there. Is what I'm trying to say. At some point.
Well, I mean, they just I guess they could just drop a real heavy weight.
Can it just like drill itself into the ground? Like I don't, because like I'm thinking back to like the BP oil spill, which is something that we're well aware of.
Well, I'm sure they drop the pipe and then extend the drill down it.
When that pipe bursts and it's just spilled oil all out in the Gulf of Mexico, to sort of quell it for the time being, they tried putting like a cement dome around it, and I wanted like how'd they get that down there? And then that exploded. And we still have pelicans that are like a shade darker because they're covered in like a slick layer of oil. That's fun.
Oh, did you see that like one thing where this massive oil spill caught on fire in the middle of the ocean? It's like the flames bubbling up from underneath the water.
I saw that like literally the first thing I saw when I turned my phone on in the morning. And I was like, oh, okay, it's the rapture. Okay, we're done. We're good. Okay.
Yep.
Like, I have never gotten over that clip.
Fucking up this planet.
I've truly never gotten over that clip. And it seems like everybody else very quickly moved past it.
It's the greedy, capitalistic pigs that run this goddamn country. Have you seen the ages and how long these people have been in office?
Wait, we gotta move on!
Alright, so Roman has probably cut out my rant against the government. Roman, what's next on the list?
Somebody brought up Tom Holland, and then we got distracted from Atlantis. So, this is on your portion of the docket here. So, what did you want to say about it?
Well, I already mentioned it, like Plato and shit. Atlantis isn't real. Plato made it up. It was supposed to be like real close to England or Spain, I want to say. I don't know. It doesn't exist. Plato made it up for his book. Or maybe it was like a myth and Plato said, oh yeah, it's right here for his book. And that's what really kicked it off for everybody.
I disagree. I think it existed at one point. Did it cascade into the water and everybody died in this big like Shakespearean play? No. But it was probably a pretty like big city that existed at one point, and they had some bad flooding, people left. It's just probably an exaggerated story. But every account, like historical account of what Atlantis may have looked like, especially Plato's, was that it was just formed of concentric rings of land and then water. It's like rings of like town and then canal. And people theorize that it was like supposedly way further advanced than like which should be possible at the time. Like it was like steampunk almost, but that's really fanciful.
Yeah, no, there's no way that's possible.
But everybody of course knows the legend that it sunk into the sea in this big dramatic way. I don't know about that, but I don't doubt that it existed at one point. And people even think that they may have found where it could have been.
I hear that every 3 years, Roman. They found Atlantis. They found Atlantis. They found Atlantis.
But it's not under the water. Have you
Yes,
heard?
I have.
Have you heard of the Eye of the Sahara?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, it is a group of concentric rings in the middle of the Sahara Desert in a place that was once completely submerged underwater, or could have access to irrigation from a nearby water source that could allow them to make those concentric like canals.
I heard that 5 years ago, Roman.
And there
Any
was
update on it?
there was no previously known civilization that lived there. Yet they went out to that site.
No update.
They went out to that site and they found like what looked like springs
Old news, Roman. Old
and
news.
then pottery that they couldn't really pin down to any nearby culture. Like, what's the harm in believing in that though? You know?
No harm, I suppose.
Like, we have this idea of a mythical city in our history. Okay, let's try and figure out where it is. Okay, this place is leading us down a path and has given us some things that point us in that direction, more than other places. There are a bunch of places.
Believing in Atlantis is like believing in Troy or the Library of Alexandria. It's not real.
Those both. Okay.
Those were real, by the way.
And the Statue of Liberty. I mean, it's fake. But
there's like 2 Statue of Liberties. You gotta be more specific.
yeah.
I think the original design for the Statue of Liberty they didn't like, so they had to redesign it.
Really?
Yeah. Mount Rushmore was never completed. You could see the they were supposed to cover the president's like upper bodies as well. You could actually see in the rock like the discoloration of where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. And then speaking of rock structures, there's a million places under the sea that we actually have found that are just these weird, like people call it like an alien spaceship because there's this big like monument underneath the ocean. I think it's in the Indian Ocean that looks like the Millennium Falcon. It's the same shape where it's got it's like a sort of oblong.
I have heard of it. I've also heard that they found Noah's Ark on one of the mountains.
Oh yeah, and like a mountain in Jerusalem or something. There's like a boat-shaped thing on top, but it's like that's leading into myth and stuff.
Whenever I was younger, when the idea of tectonic plates, Pangea, and just our countries all being like one super massive structure, little young me thought like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know what would also be pretty cool? If like giant sea turtles held up the continents on their back and like Pangea was their mating period or something.
I didn't hear that aspect of your story.
Well, yeah, that was like, you know, my childhood me. Sea turtles hold up the continents.
But what myth, what culture is associated with like the
Hindu, I believe?
the 4 elephants and then...
Hold up the corners of the world on top of like...
It's right here. There's a turtle and then 4 elephants and then the world that's a disc.
Yep.
On top of it.
Which
You're saying Hindu? I don't know that. I'll put it here in the picture, but I don't know. That is very interesting though, because as we know, I love sea turtles. But
tectonic plates make the mountains. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that if you don't know, the Earth's crust is split up into big giant sections, and over time they just move around. The Earth has not always looked like it does now, where the countries are all where they are now. It's constantly moving.
I say we use all of our nuclear bombs, put them at our coastlines, and just set them all off to subtly shift our continents closer together.
Don't think that would work.
It
Also,
would probably call tidal waves.
I think I heard this somewhere a long time ago, so I don't know if it's true, but they said that continents move at the rate your fingernails grow. So.
Well, I mean, like, all of them at once?
They're all moving at the same rate.
No. I mean, like, it's moving at the speed of all of my fingernails?
Not one.
Okay, because, like, if we go by like how many inches, well, centimeter, it's not centimeters. Yeah, centimeters smaller than inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 centimeters for each fingernails or some shit. That's pretty long though, isn't it? 5 centimeters. I don't know centimeters.
Rule or something. Whatever. But yeah, so it's constantly moving around. Like, for example, like during some prehistoric time, Middle America, like the Midwest, was just a big ocean that split the country in half.
Have you seen those videos where they drop bombs deep in the ocean and then they explode and you see the giant water?
Yeah. They put that stuff in like the opening credits of Godzilla movies now. But yeah, let's hope there's not like Godzilla-sized kaiju living at the bottom of the ocean.
There isn't. There's no way to sustain that.
That is true. Creatures that large, they just don't. Ooh! I'm gonna bring up Nope any chance I get, but people may roll their eyes at. Okay, I realize now I'm gonna have to put a spoiler warning. So this is practically the end of the episode. I just want to wrap things up, but if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert. But anyway, the giant alien at the end ends up like unfolding itself into what looks like a giant jellyfish. But it's made out of like thin membranes and fabric almost. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of it, but it's thin and it's got a lot of surface area. So it would require less sustenance to keep itself alive. Whereas something like a Godzilla is just a big ass creature that would literally need to consume like a planet's worth of stuff per year. And they pawn it off with like, oh, these creatures feed off radiation, which humans have a ton of excess of. That's how they get by it in like the MonsterVerse movies, but something that in real life couldn't really exist like that. Like a blue whale is pushing it. So.
Right. I want to bring up the deepest dive without scuba gear, but listen to this. The maximum depth reached by anyone in a single breath is 702 feet underwater.
Jesus.
But then, just a little bit after that, it says the deepest dive without oxygen is 831 feet. So, I mean...
What's the difference?
I don't know, but apparently there is one if they have 2 different records. Right?
Maybe one is like just some guy holding his breath, like the shorter one, and the second one is somebody who has an oxygen tank.
No. If it was just him holding his breath.
Was this too much pressure already at that point? At 700 something feet?
What? This is stupid.
You
Next
brought it up.
question.
I think we wrap things up at this point. There are also, I realized after the last episode, it's not a good idea to explain noises. So I'll just say there's a lot of cool content out there about mysterious noises, like the blue.
Coming from the ocean. I remember the blue.
So I would look those videos up if that's something that would interest you. The blue probably being the most famous.
And remember, people, dolphins are dicks, sharks are nice and silky. There are many benefits to being a marine biologist.
What the fuck?
Alright, fuck. Excuse me. Shit.
Okay, well, you get your thoughts
Does
together.
it have to be, relevant to the episode?
You wanted to wrap this up.
Well,
Look,
I'm just gonna say question. I always say put something in the comments at the end of every episode. It's like a question for them.
Yes.
Put in the comments if you're, I don't know, schizophrenic or something.
Is that all just so you could shoehorn that in?
Alright, put in the comments whether you were a Treasure Planet kid or a Atlantis kid while growing up.
Or go with the question that you started with. Would you rather explore the deep sea or explore space? You said that at the beginning.
Don't cut in, Roman. I'm doing my thing. You cannot be both. You cannot be both Treasure Planet and Atlantis. Anybody who puts that in the comments that they like both as a kid, immediately negative points.
It's kind of the same question though. Treasure Planet, it's in space. Atlantis, it's the ocean. It's the same question.
What did I just say about questioning me, Roman? You can only pick one.
I'm
Which do
making
you
an
prefer?
observation. It's not a question.
You can only pick one. Which one did you like more? Treasure Planet or Atlantis? Let us know in the comments below. You cannot pick both. If you type in both, that means you're indecisive and you're a bad person. Next video.
I just wanted to say that I don't know how long this episode is going to cut down to, but thank you everybody for bearing with us in the last episode for a full hour and 10 minutes. I don't know if you knew that's what it cut down to. I'm hoping to make these a little bit shorter because it's a lot of work for me to edit. And we don't really know what our next episode is going to be. I think we announced what the next episode would be in previous episodes. But let's keep it a secret this time. So thank you for watching. Bye!
Wait.